amorous pastimes in the groves of Dham. He is the lover of the gathered maidens of Raj, the holder of the great hill named Govardhan, the beloved son of Mother Jasoda, and the delighter of the inhabitants of Raj. He wanders in the forest among the banks of the river Jamuna. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Vidyataha Sto Yabdadrani Vidu Noti Saritsatam Nasta Preshu Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, please repeat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author, Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment, from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous, when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, by the rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart, is almost completely destroyed. A loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, Chapter 6, Text 20. Please repeat. Padas Trayo Bahish Chasam Padas Trayo Bahish Chasam Aprajanam Ya Ashramaha Aprajanam ya ashramaha Antas Trilokyas Tvaparo Antas Trilokyas Tvaparo Griha Medo Brihad Vrataha
Vataha
Griha Medho Brihad Vrataha
Griha Medo Brahad Vataha
Padastrayo Bahishchasam
Padastrayo Vihishasam
Aprajanam Ya Ashramaha
Abajanam Ya Asma
Antastri Lokya Svaparo
Antastri Lokastha Aparo
Griha Medho Brihad Vrataha
Griha Medo Brahad
Padastrayo Bahishchasam
Padastrayo Vihishasam
Aprajanam Ya Ashramaha
Aprajanam Ya Asma
Antastri Lokya Svaparo
Antastri Lokya Svaparo
Griha Medho Brihad Vrataha
Pradastrayo Vihish Chasham Aprajanam Ya Asramaham Antastri Lokyas Twa Aparo Graha Medho Brahad Vataha
Antastri Lokastha Aparo Griha Medo Brihad Vrataha Padastrayo Bahishchasam Aprajanam Ya Ashramaha Antastri Lokastha Aparo Griha Medo Brihad Vrataha
Griha Medo Brahad Vataha
Padastrayo Bahishchasam Aprajanam Ya Ashramaha Antastri Lokastha Aparo
Griha Medo Brahad Vataha
Padaha Trayaha Please repeat. Padaha Trayaha. The cosmos of 3/4 of the Lord's energy. Bahi, thus situated beyond. Cha, and for all. Asam, work. Aprajanam, of those who are not meant for rebirth. Yea, those. Ashramaha, status of life. Antaha, within. Trilokyaha, of the 3 worlds. Two, but. Aparaha, others. Griha Medaha, attached to family life. Abrihat Vrata, without strictly following a vow of celibacy. Sugar free.
Oh, yes, I'm not sick, thank you. I'm not sick, just a little bit of mucus coming.
Oh, okay.
Therefore, thank you.
You're welcome. Translation. Please repeat. The spiritual world, which consists of 3/4 of the Lord's energy, is situated beyond this material world. And it is especially meant for those who will never be reborn. Others, who are attached to family life
who are attached to family life,
and who do not strictly follow celibacy vows
and who do not strictly follow celibacy vows,
must live within the three material worlds.
must live within the three material worlds.
The spiritual world, which consists of 3/4 of the Lord's energy, is situated beyond this material world, and it is especially meant for those who will never be reborn. Others who are attached to family life and who do not strictly follow celibacy vows must live within the three material worlds. Purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The climax of the system of Varnashram Dharma, or Sanatana Dharma, is clearly expressed here in this particular verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. The highest benefit that can be awarded to a human being is to train him to be detached from sex life, particularly because it is only due to sex indulgence that the conditioned soul, the conditioned life of material existence, continues birth after birth. Human civilization, in which there is no control of sex life, is a fourth-class civilization, because in such an atmosphere there is no liberation of the soul encaged in the material body. Birth, death, old age, and disease are related to the material body, and they have nothing to do with the spirit soul. But as long as the bodily attachment for sensual enjoyment is encouraged, the individual spirit soul is forced to continue the repetition of birth and death on account of the material body, which is compared to garments subjected to the law of deterioration. In order to award the highest benefit of human life, the Varnashram system trains the follower to adopt the vow of celibacy, beginning from the order of brahmachari. The brahmachari life is for students who are educated to follow strictly the vow of celibacy. Youngsters who have had no taste of sex life can easily follow the vow of celibacy, and once fixed in the principle of such a life, one can very easily continue to the highest perfectional stage, attaining the kingdom of the three-fourths energy of the Lord. It is already explained that in the cosmos, the three-fourths energy of the Lord, there is neither death nor fear, and one is full of the blissful life of happiness and knowledge. A householder attached to family life can easily give up such a life of sex indulgence. A householder attached to family life can easily give up such a life of sex indulgence if he has been trained in the principles of the life of a brahmachari. A householder is recommended to quit home at the end of 50 years. Prachara sword vanam vrajet, and live a life in the forest. Then, being fully detached from family affection, he may accept the order of renunciation as a sannyasi, fully engaged in the service of the Lord. Any form of religious principles in which the followers are trained to pursue the vow of celibacy is good for the human being, because only those who are trained in that way can end the miserable life of material existence. The principles of nirvana, as recommended by Lord Buddha, are also meant for ending the miserable life of material existence. And this process is the highest degree. And this process, in the highest degree, is recommended here in Srimad Bhagavatam with clear perception of ideal perfection. Although basically there is no difference between the process of Buddhists, Sankarites, and Vaishnavites. For promotion to the highest status of perfection, namely freedom from birth and death, anxiety and fearfulness, not one of these processes allows the follower to break the vow of celibacy. The householders and persons who have deliberately broken the vow of celibacy cannot enter into the kingdom of deathlessness. The pious householders, or the fallen yogis, or the fallen transcendentalists, can be promoted to the higher planets within the material world, 1/4 of the energy of the Lord, but they will fail to enter into the kingdom of deathlessness. Brahadratas are those who have broken the vow of celibacy. The vanaprasthas are those retired from family life, and the sannyasis, or the renounced persons, cannot break the vow of celibacy if they want to success in the process. The brahmacharis, vanaprasthas, and sannyasis do not intend to take rebirth of praja, nor are they meant for secretly indulging in sex life. Such a fall down by the spiritualist may be compensated by another chance for human life in good families of learned brahmanas or of rich merchants for another term of elevation. But the best thing is to attain the highest perfection of deathlessness as soon as the human form of life is attained. Otherwise, the whole policy of human life will prove to be a total failure. Lord Chaitanya was very strict in advising his followers in the matter of celibacy. One of his personal attendants, Chota Haridas, was severely punished by Lord Chaitanya because of his failure to observe the vow of celibacy. For a transcendentalist, therefore, who at all wants to be promoted to the kingdom beyond material miseries, it is worse than suicide to deliberately indulge in sex life, especially in the renounced order of life. Sex life is in the renounced order of life is the most perverted form of religious life, and such a misguided person can only be saved if by chance he meets a pure devotee. Translation. The spiritual world, which consists of 3/4 of the Lord's energy, is situated beyond this material world, and it is especially meant for those who will never be reborn. Others who are attached to family life and who do not strictly follow celibacy vows must live within the 3 material worlds. So, we're renunciants, so we really have no problem with observing celibacy, because for us, it's not really a problem. Because Lord Hrishikesh, he helps us, especially if we pray to him and ask him for help to maintain us in our vows of celibacy. We don't focus our mind on being celibate. What we do is we focus our mind on following our Gurudev's instructions. And as a perfect captain, he guides us to the spiritual world. That's where we want to be eventually. But we really just want to be wherever our Gurudev is at, and we want to assist our Gurudev in his service. And we know that if we break our celibacy vows, that it will displease our spiritual masters. So that's enough for us devotees. Because we live to serve our Gurudev. So it doesn't have to be, for us it's not artificial rules and regulations. Just like when you approach a martial arts master, you expect that you're going to have to, there's going to be a certain amount of strictness, a certain amount of what might be called a little bit of suffering, you might say. You expect that. But you also, you know that if you follow his instructions and the rules he sets down, that you'll get his full blessings and you will learn the particular martial arts to its fullest extent, because the master will be very pleased with the disciple. So in this age, celibacy may seem very difficult. That's because on every corner, in all the media, you're constantly being bombarded by all of these images, because everyone knows sex sells. So if the more our life is filled up with the media, then the more risk that we run of all of these things that they set out to trip you up, the materialists set out to trip up sincere devotees of the Lord. I remember, just changing the subject a little bit, when Mataji was talking about, Prabhupada warned the Matajis, stay away from the Babajis in Vrindavan, because for certain reasons. Just like a monkey may be renounced. He's maybe vegetarian, and he may be running around with no clothes on him, very renounced. He may live in the woods, in the jungle, but he may have many wives, the monkey. So, but see, we're fortunate. Who's giving us that instruction? Prabhupada was telling the Mahajis, warning the Mahajis, at that time, stay away from the Babajis. So, Prabhupada's a pure devotee, so we can trust his instruction. Prabhupada says, don't trust me, I may let you down. But Krishna, trust Krishna. Krishna will never let you down. Krishna will never cheat you. So that's Prabhupada being humble, extremely humble. So we don't want to be pretenders. Krishna warned us in Bhagavad Gita. It says, Karmendriyani samyamya ya aste manasha smaran indriyartam vimudhatma mitya charaha sauchyate. One who restrains the senses and organs of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certain to lose himself and is called a pretender. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. There are many pretenders who refuse to work in Krishna consciousness, but make a show of meditation, while actually dwelling within the mind upon sense enjoyment. Such pretenders may also speak, and of course that means they're not actually relishing spiritual enjoyment. If they're dwelling within the mind upon sense enjoyment, that also shows that they have not controlled their mind. And also for us devotees, when we pray to Lord Hrishikesh, please control these senses. And of course that includes the mind, the sixth sense. So we pray to the Lord, and that is, the Lord easily controls our senses. We're always meditating on how to control. Just like when you're riding a bucking bronco, you're always meditating on how to control. How do I control this wild beast? How do I stay on top of this situation? How does it not throw me down and crash me to the ground? So the mind is like trying to control the wind. How do you control the wind? Well, we're very small. We cling tightly to our Guru Dev's lotus feet and Lord Krishna's lotus feet. I know every night myself I pray to my only God brothers and God sisters, please place the dust of your lotus feet upon my head. If I get their mercy, all of their blessings, that is, I would just pray to get the dust of the lotus feet. How do I serve Srila Prabhupada better? How do I stay faithful to Srila Prabhupada? Continuing Srila Prabhupada's purport, such pretenders may also speak of dry philosophy in order to bluff sophisticated followers. But according to this verse, these are the greatest cheaters. For sense enjoyment, one can act in any capacity of the social order. But if one follows the rules and regulations of his particular status, he can make gradual progress in purifying his existence. But he who makes a show of being a yogi while actually searching for the objects of sense gratification must be called the greatest cheater, even though he sometimes speaks of philosophy. His knowledge has no value because the effects of such a simple man's knowledge are taken away by the illusory energy of the Lord. Such a pretender's mind is always impure, and therefore his show of yogic meditation has no value whatsoever. We don't really have to worry about pretenders, like we worry about trying to maintain the purity of our movement. But it's self-evident, if there's a rotten apple in the bushel, well, it's pretty self-evident, because if someone continues to have that problem, then that nectar which they were experiencing gradually diminishes, and but if they humbly approach the Lord and take shelter of the Lord sincerely, praying to Lord Rishikesh and the spiritual master, and keeping our mind absorbed in these books and keeping our mind absorbed in the Maha Mantra. I've learned over the years that, I pray that I can even chant the Maha Mantra. I haven't mastered it yet, but I pray that I can chant the Maha Mantra even in my nightmares and dreams. And that I will always take shelter of the Maha Mantra anytime there's any sort of sneaky little thought coming in the back of the mind, a sneaky little lusty thought. Yeah, it leads to another lusty thought, like etc., etc., etc. Well, if you catch it and then nip it in the bud, as soon as it sneaks in the back door, just chant the Maha Mantra right then. Bam, close, slam the door shut. The Maha Mantra, it can't get past the Maha Mantra. Krishna himself, and these are just things that we all have realizations through our devotional life, and it's just. We like to keep them to ourselves because you think, well, if I voice it, then it loses its potency, etc., but that's not true among devotees. We're supposed to share our realizations, we're supposed to... We don't know, sometimes, to whom much is given, much is expected. Well, we all think, well, what do I know? I don't know anything. But that's not really true. If your Gurudev wants you to preach to others and to the devotees, then we just have to do that, even if you don't feel like you have much to offer. You never know, something you say may be a benefit. That if it's a benefit to myself, then maybe it'll benefit to another devotee, because we're not miserly. Devotees are not miserly, I might be a little miserly, but the real devotees, not miserly at all, We want to share, we really do. We wish this temple was filled up full of hungry people, aspiring to become self-realized, to become happy. That's what we really do aspire for that. All devotees. Vaishnava means well-wisher to all living entities.
Can I say that?
Oh, yes, please.
That's a really nice point you're making. And actually, I was thinking of 2 or 3 things, but this last thing especially, I think, because this is a discussion that goes on a lot over the years with devotees, and even especially those devotees that come from a Catholic background, where there is a system of confession or revealing one's mind, which is actually part of the process laid out by Rupa Goswami in the Nectary of Instruction, to inquire what's on someone's mind and reveal your mind to others. But of course, we're always revealing our mind to Super Soul internally. I think that the real issue is that there's a lack of trust amongst each other. I mean, first of all, the main thing is, do you trust yourself? Not to project that then, therefore, I can't trust anyone here. But if you have a relationship with someone that you can confide in, that I'm doing this, but I get these thoughts, and I don't understand why after all these years, I still get these thoughts. Is there something we can, and maybe there's, somewhere where we can, but like you're saying, this fear of not revealing your mind also, it means also in personal relationship, but also revealing your mind, like giving a class. You're afraid that somehow or other, people will see that I'm not. But actually, even if that were true, which I doubt, because anyone who's here practicing and chanting and getting up in the morning is more intelligent than the biggest PhDs in this world right now. So, but even if you think yourself a fool, well, first of all, that's your first qualification. Second of all, Janaka Pandit says that you can learn even from a fool. And I've heard things from people that, I had no respect for at all. I'm not talking about any, non-devotees. And I'll go, whoa. Because we also have another foundation where when someone says something, we hear it in relation to Krishna, not just in relation to But sometimes what happens is someone feels challenged by someone else's intelligence. You know, so,
Yeah.
and that's not, but the thing is that if you're challenged by someone else's, like right now, you know, there are many devotees that I see that, you know, they actually kind of, like, you know, the hare and the tortoise, I mean, I'm not saying that they're hares, but they sort of sped on. You know, the younger devotees, and I can see, I acknowledge that, God, they're doing something right. I made a left turn somewhere, and I'm going to find out what they're doing. So, but everyone's intelligence, what does it say in Bhagavad Gita? What does it say about intelligence in the Bhagavad Gita? I am the intelligence of the intelligent. That intelligence is Krishna's. It's coming from Krishna. It's a gift. So, ultimately, if we find, you know, some issue, I'm just speaking for myself. I'm not talking about anyone else here. I'm talking about me. When you said that, who can I talk to? You know, other than to the deities. And actually, that's a nice program. Devotees do that. But anyway, I just thought there was a lot of things you said that.
Yeah, Prabhuji, revealing one's mind to somebody you trust, a Vaishnava you trust, you know. And unfortunately, it's unfortunate to have to say like that. Like, there's some devotees I might not reveal my mind to, you know. Well, everybody.
Well, I just revealed my mind to everyone.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's wonderful. It's trust, you know. And based on also, like, we do have a fear. My main fear on this farm is being criticized, like in class, after class, and it gives me anxiety. And I shouldn't have to have that anxiety, but it's still there, you know. It happens other places. It's happened here, of course. It hasn't happened in a long time, but you know what I mean? I mean, when you're giving class, you're putting your heart out there. You're putting yourself out there. You're exposing yourself, you know. And out of love, it's really just out of love. And, of course, responsibility to our Guru Dev that we give class. Vaishnavas, I mean, I'm not a Vaishnava, but Vaishnavas are actually very humble, but they have a lot of other qualities too, just like, you know, strong on the battlefield of life, you know what I mean?
Well, it depends if it's constructive.
Yeah.
Prabhu, they would also criticize you in a fair way. Like, can I see you after class, Prabhu? And then tell, not openly, because I know you.
Well, no, you know what it's like
Yeah.
to be in, I don't know if it's Christian bug or whatever.
I had somebody criticize me from the ISKCON, and it was unfair. And later on, he understood it, but then it was like awesome. Is this discussion or question time?
It's not, you know, I say it 10 minutes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You want to get your, because you got to close.
I'm sorry, but I just didn't have, you know, you really moved me.
Yeah.
And I want, you know, and it was not just that. I mean, we were talking about feeding the desire for sex and then being aware of the Babaji's, and I had experience, but that's another thing. So, but, yeah, I don't think you have. Would you have more? Because more running.
You got 10 minutes.
If you don't mind, if I have to say something.
No, that's
this
fine.
has been troubling me, and it's about Prabhuji too. And I just want to. Something happened here yesterday in the morning, but at the same time, I've been witnessing another thing that Asika and Prabhu did right away. You know, they just apologized to each other. That's like a really nice thing to do when you.
I don't think my obeisance is done.
Yeah, something like this I saw here, but I don't know what. But they fixed it right away.
Well, that just goes to show you, I mean,
whatever it is.
I'm not aware of anything that happened yesterday, but
Yeah.
Krishna makes us say things maybe that
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
That's Krishna's complete. He's
Back to what he was saying, revealing your mind, my experience is that you have to be very careful who you are revealing your mind to.
Amen.
And then when you're talking also, we are all from different culture, no? This is what happened actually, I think, yesterday. You could have said something here, and then another one heard, and by the time it went to the person, it was completely different. That's why it's better to say to one person and also explain carefully. Same another incident happened yesterday, also day before, Corona Prabhu was having a little issue. But since he confided with me, and then I just fixed it, it was just fixed right away. Same thing with Surarya and Ati Sundari. I didn't explain properly what flower to use. They both knew. They went and used the flower I gave them. It's in communication, I don't communicate very well sometimes. So it's all of us, we all come from different cultures. We have to be sometimes with certain people detailed, which I cannot because I have so much to do. I don't detail, But I realize it's my fault, So another thing, we have to keep very light-hearted. Don't take things so seriously.
Yeah.
Because we are super sensitive.
We are.
Devotees are also super sensitive, One said one thing and we're like, why, like that. But just be light-hearted, a little bit. And because we are all coming from different cultures, we're going to understand and take things slightly different than what you meant,
I have just a few, three points to make that I realized over the years. Are you through, Manaji?
Yes, I'm done.
Sorry. But thank you very much for that.
Welcome.
Not that it has much value, but devotees are in a rarefied atmosphere. We're chanting the transcendental sound vibration. Prabhupada says everything can be accomplished through transcendental sound vibration. We're chanting the Maha Mantra, and our senses are just buzzing, like up here. We're way up here, And after the morning program, you just, wow, It's just surcharged every morning. So, and then also we have our, we all have our, there is a false ego we're dealing with. It's our subtle body, And it always wants attention. Also, we don't want to be looked at as like, I'm not inferior, I'm advanced, I'm just advanced as this devotee, Things like this, all these things going on in the mind. It's all the mental thing, And, but once you get older as a devotee, you realize none of this matters. I just want to serve my Guru Dev, And I just want to be happy. I want to help others become happy. And
I just don't want to see the young do this.
Yeah. Boy, that would be something.
Like the thing you confided with us too the other day, just like that. We both reacted like this very fast, and then I said, hey, we shouldn't react like that, Because when you said it, we was not thinking, both of us, me and my husband, we just like, woo, no, we jumped in. And then we started to calm down and say, no, just listen to you, because you're going through so much about it, and all that issue. So you confided, and I told my husband, next time we have to be very careful when somebody's saying this thing, we shouldn't just jump, because it was a shock for us to begin with. Yeah. And then after that we realized you are confiding with us about something.
Yeah. It was my rare chance. I was thinking about y'all.
And then
you drove up in a vehicle right there. It's like Krishna just did this,
And it's hard on us.
Because I have a hard time approaching sometimes.
Yeah, and it's hard on us because people get us when we are least expected, Right. 10 people will come at me, mostly, and then my husband will just send them to me, and I'm like a big fixer or something. But that was like, I'm sorry we reacted real quickly, but we realized that we needed to listen to you,
Well, this is y'all deal with so much, though. It's just, you have my respect and my utter respect. Even before I came down here, I'm still president of ISKCON Alabama, but y'all came up there, Yogi came up there, Yogendra came there periodically for programs. And, y'all have my respect before I even came down here. But here's a great verse that we all know about. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Prajahati Lakaman Sarvam Parta Manopatan Atmani Vatmana Tushtaha Stita Pranashtadochate. The Blessed Lord said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of sense desire which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. So I really love that verse. The Blessed Lord said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of sense desire which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind thus purified finds satisfaction in his self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. Text 55, chapter 2. The purport by Srila Prabhupada, the Bhagavatam affirms that any person who is fully in Krishna consciousness or devotional service of the Lord has all the good qualities of the great sages, whereas a person who is not so transcendently situated has no good qualifications, because he is sure to be taking refuge in his own mental concoctions. Consequently, it is rightly said herein that one has to give up all kinds of sense desire manufactured by mental concoction. Artificially, such sense desires cannot be stopped, but if one is engaged in Krishna consciousness, then automatically sense desires subside without extraneous efforts. Therefore, one has to engage himself in Krishna consciousness without hesitation, for this devotional service will instantly help one onto the platform of transcendental consciousness. The highly developed soul always remains satisfied in himself by realizing himself as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord. Such a transcendently situated person has no sense desires resulting from petty materialism. Rather, he remains always happy in his natural position of eternally serving the Supreme Lord. Anybody else have any comments?
That was really encouraging what you said about these thoughts that come, because they're going to come. And we're not held accountable for thoughts, only actions. You chant the Maha Mantra and it sort of
Slams the door.
It does that.
Slams the door on the intruder.
That martial art blocking move.
Just like in Atlanta, Prabhuji. I remember years ago, somebody worked at Domino's.
Mm-hmm.
They said they kept getting robbed from the back door. There was a back door in every business.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow they would catch them at the back door.
Yeah, deliver.
Like maybe they'd open it up to take trash out, whatever. But they'd come in the back door and rob the Domino's.
Mm.
Yeah.
So in 3:6, the verse you shared, it talks about the pretender.
Uh-huh.
And it said, for sense enjoyment, one can act in any capacity or social order, but if one follows the rules and regulations of his particular status, he can make gradual progress in purifying his existence before it goes into the pretense. And I thought if somebody was like, they knew all the verses and stuff, and they could, navigate the Shastras really well, but they were not really at that level, that was not effective. But it says here that it's not the person, it's actually Krishna that makes it's called, but he who makes a show of being a yogi while actually searching, not trying to guard against intrusion of the breaking of the rig, but searches for it. Like, let me go and like they say in the 12 step, it's one thing to run from a bar, it's another thing to run into a bar. So you sort of going away from that sense gratification. It's searching for the objects of sense gratification must be called the great cheater, even though he sometimes speaks philosophy. His knowledge has no value because the effects of such a simple man's knowledge is taken away by the Lord. That's kind of really
Taken away by the illusory energy of the Lord. Yeah.
So it's not that, there's supposed to be no loss of diminution. If you can speak some truth, it can help somebody. But if the Lord decides not to make it effective, it's nil. According to that, it can be taken away by the illusory. Does it say can? Because the effects of such a simple man's knowledge are taken away. I guess the Lord has His ways.
Well, did you hear that example I gave?
Yeah.
About the yesterday morning. It kind of fits that, where this thief was listening to the Bhagavatam and he heard how
he wanted to get the riches.
Yes, and Mother Soda would decorate him with all his jewels.
Right.
So he told the Bhagavatam reciter, where is the dog? How do I get it? Because I want to get it. He asked, why? Well, I want to get his jewels, but then I'll be a millionaire. You can't do that. So then, anyway, he said, if you meditate on the dog, it's meditate on the dog. Pray to Krishna. So he just meditated and meditated. Then he became qualified to go to Dham. He still had an illicit desire.
Right, we all do.
And then he finally said, but I'm in Dham, I don't see Krishna.
So he
So
was
then
searching
he
for
meditated on Krishna.
Right.
I hear it's like this. He gets qualified to be in his presence. Then he says, I want to steal your jewelry. Which is actually, if you think about it, this is a fictitious story. It's not true. It's an allegory, or not an allegory, but it's something to show a point that actually super souls in your heart. And
Right.
you actually say, I want to be Krishna conscious, but I also want blah, blah, blah.
So it's depending what you're
So-
searching for.
Yeah, and but then
He's
so
told
then
them.
he finally he keeps meditating on Krishna,
And it works.
associating with him. Krishna tells him, "No, you cannot have my jewelry. You'll never have my jewelry." You know, and but he just loves Krishna. He's so beautiful, and he's so everything around him is so blissful. And eventually, Krishna realizes that he's been totally purified, and he turns to him and says, "You can have my jewelry." And he says, why would I want that? I have you.
So it's what we're really searching, what we focus on and what we search for.
But this is the way Prabhupada approached. This is the difference between the way I understand it. Like if you remember, what's his name? The one that did Sureshwara? And he talked about how Prabhupada approached preaching in the West and how his Gauravas approached it.
Okay.
Prabhupada knew if you could just get them to chant, and just get them to take prasada, give them the higher taste. They were addicted to getting high on LSD and smoking weed or whatever. But just get them to chant and get them the higher taste. Then slowly,
Make
those
progress.
desires can fall away. They may come back again, but now you have to give them the literature, the information, the books. So that, like we just read in this chapter, that it said that sex desire, not sex desire, but the act of sex, is actually not pleasurable, but only because the Lord, as you just stated, as that point that you just made, that's why I thought of it, is that Krishna puts an illusory covering over the genital so that it seems like it's pleasurable, so that you will go through this painful act and then have to support the results for the next 20 to 50 years.
That's right. Yeah.
It never goes away. And then you're also entangled now with these other jivas. So it's an illusory energy that Krishna puts over it, over the genital. Now you just said, where was that verse from? 3:6?
3:6.
Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it means that he's taking, so he can take that, he can make it painful for you. He can actually, say, make it very difficult for you to enjoy sex life. He can take it away.
And what we focus on, that's what you want to either suffer or get rewarded.
But it's like what we're all saying here, I think, is that you may be sitting down chanting your rounds, and you're not focusing on,
Right.
say, sex desire in this case. And yet, like a river goes through your mind. The mind is a river, and these dead objects float by. This trash floats in. You don't know where it came from. Where is that? I'm not thinking about that. I don't want that. But it's there. Then you start to identify with that thought. But you don't have to identify with everything that goes into our mind.
Right.
You see everything that comes through the front door, it's obvious, but it's the back door you have to worry about.
Right, and that's when when the mantra actually protects you and focus on Krishna protects you. And if you're seeking, this person's seeking these thoughts. This person's seeking out, I want more of that. And that's totally different from, I don't want that.
This is very alien.
Where did that come from?
Our process is kind of like alien to materialists. They don't really want the medicine. Who wants the medicine,
But in mindfulness meditation, if you say, I don't want to think of a brown horse, or I don't want to think of a red rose, then you start thinking of it. So we have to focus on Krishna.
I mean, there's plenty of stories, and I have my own, where when you're doing Sankirtan, say door-to-door Sankirtan. I mean, I don't know what I should say, But anyway, you'll be doing door-to-door sanctum, thinking you're going to distribute pure love of God in the form of these books. And then you open the door, and there's someone half naked and biting you.
Told you, man.
I mean, there's so many, why are you putting me in this position? Why do I have to, but it's a test, obviously, but,
Yes, Margie?
I'm thinking about it, and an analogy comes to my mind, like Prabhupada had a hat that he would tie on. So the philosophy can be like a Prabhupada hat. You have to keep it tied on tight, because the wind can blow it off, and this applies both to stray thoughts that get us entangled in the back door, and also to false ego when people say things to us, and we get so upset, and we think we're trusting somebody, and all of a sudden they throw us. Because if we don't have our philosophy hat tied on at that moment, because we just sort of forgot to tie it, thinking it's just going to sit there, and assume we put it on or we forgot to put it on, then we aren't protected by these things that surprise us. Like whether somebody that we are just blissfully trusting because this is all safe here, and there's devotees and everything, and you say something, and all of a sudden they get upset, and then you get upset because they said that, and nobody was prepared to know his hat was tied on. So we always have to remember, even if we're revealing our mind to somebody we trust, or if we're absorbed in service or chanting or preaching, we have to keep our philosophy hats on and remember all the false ego and the modes and all these things that are there, and everybody's subject.
When do you ever hear anything about, was mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, about loving exchanges between devotees? I mean, you just don't ever hear about it, seems like,
It's all through the Chaitanya Charitamrita, isn't it?
Huh?
It's all over the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
No, that's not what I meant. I'm talking about in our regular devotional life, among us, what I'm talking about. I don't ever hear anybody mention loving exchanges between the devotees.
It would be
well,
nice.
I mean, people cook the feast.
No, I know there is loving exchanges. I just don't hear it mentioned that.
But let me tell you.
The word, like, thank you, Prabhu, thank you for that wonderful, loving exchange.
Yeah.
To hear it, that's what you mean. Somebody
to
said
hear people talking about
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, Margie.
But back to what Prabhu said, cooking the feast. We do it all the time, but we only have one person will come and tell us.
What?
Thank you. Yes, it happens every time. We all let's see who's going to do it this way. And it's only that same one person will come and say thank you.
You mean like at the feast?
Yes, at the feast. And
Because when
Mother
they serve, she does it. But
She's
when they're
the only one
serving
that
you
does
and you say thank you,
Yeah.
sometimes I don't think the person
No, it's
serving
good
you
that see
or
what
the
you're
cooks
doing here. It helps
get
us
the message.
become aware of
Yeah,
You're right.
that's what I'm saying. We
Well,
all
you're
have to
sharing
be
it.
light-weighted, light-hearted.
and encourage each other.
I just observe these things, even if and here's another one. Someone was saying saying thank you to this, like you said, this happens like on a daily basis. And I go through this like 40 years. Number one person is me and my husband. We miscommunicate all the time. I say something, he will understand it different. He says something and I'm like, what are you saying? I don't get it. But you saying thank you to this person over here, the person blew up. How about that? You're like, thank you so much. Why you have to thank me? Because I'm doing this for Krishna, not for you. Stop saying thank you.
That's
Screaming at me.
Some people,
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
and that's why it's better to it's
You
better.
thank someone, and they said, if you stop thanking me, then you're hurting me by thanking me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's better to it's better to recognize their devotional service. And what I picked up on, and nobody taught me this,
Again.
but it's better to say thank you for your. I observed somebody say it, and I said that worked. Thank you. All glories to your devotional service.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing,
Yeah.
because then you're complimenting them.
You're not.
on what they did for you.
Like
But all glories to your
I'm
devotional
not
service.
really interfering with any of your.
No,
Yeah.
we're just having a nice conversation.
I heard a guru say, "My enemies compliment me," and I'm not going to tell you the name of the guru, but he said that, and it scared the devotees. Like all my enemies
Can you
compliment me.
imagine a new person how it would scare them hearing that?
Yeah.
They wouldn't
How did
understand.
How did Prabhupada respond when someone complimented him?
And thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
No.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Because it turns it around.
If I've done anything, it's I followed the orders of my Guru Maharaj.
Jai.
I am not the one who's doing this, my Guru Maharaj.
Jai. So he passes.
So sometimes the person who's being complimented may think, oh, they're making me puffed up and I don't want that. So it's some sense of
They don't
false
want it.
humility. They try to be,
Right.
oh, I don't want that.
And that might be the only time he said that in his whole devotional career, that he actually voiced it maybe or something.
Yeah, but that's not 1%, you know. But generally, majority of the devotees, they like to be acknowledged more than appreciated. I noticed that. They want to be acknowledged. They want to be heard. Number one, I've learned in my 40 years.
There's not only that, but I was going to mention this earlier in class. There's one word that everybody wants. Does anybody know what that means? What that word is? Does anybody know what that word is? What everybody wants, every organization, every parent, every child, everybody wants one word.
I have an idea, but
Love
what is
me.
it?
Respect.
Respect. And you know what? There was a devotee in Atlanta that would always say it when he went in the hood. He would say respect.
Yeah.
And that's the only
Boy, that's
word.
your ticket right
and that
through.
word in the hood, like when you go respect.
Yeah.
And I'm giving you respect.
Yeah.
And those guys like that.
Yeah.
See, respect also comes in two ways.
That's all they want. I mean, if you're in the hood and you're surrounded by all these guys, you say, man, I respect you. I respect
Oh,
you.
they'll back up.
You know,
Say,
wow, you know.
Yeah.
There are some who goes around disrespecting people too. You know?
Disrespect,
Even
the worst
that
thing.
disrespect, yeah. There are some who just flat right will disrespect.
There was one that had a seminal moment that I had when I first came here. It was about a year after I got here. And I was sitting at the picnic table up here. And Mataji, who's been here for many years, came by with her daughter. And it shocked me what happened. And I said, I just told her daughter, first time meeting her, I said, tell me something about Krishna. I mean, you know, I just wanted to help me become Krishna conscious. I mean, it was really innocent, you know. And her mother, she freaked out.
Oh.
What do you know about Krishna? It's just like, oh my God, this place is so tightly wound.
Yeah.
Is it really wound this tight? You know what I mean? It was an innocent request, you know, please tell me. I didn't say, please tell me something about Krishna. Should have said, please, but tell me something about Krishna. Like, I just wanted to become Krishna conscious, offer me something that I can become Krishna conscious. And her mom took it all completely wrong. You know?
Yeah.
What do you know about Krishna?
Yeah.
You know?
Communication. Wrong timing, you know. Timing is another thing. You
it's
say the wrong
shocking.
thing at the right thing at the wrong time and the wrong thing at the right time. It's hard. Devotees are all so super sensitive, you know. Their antennas all over, you know. Every time.
Antennas?
Yeah, boom, 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 boom. I'm one of them, you know. Because when you do
But we're
so much
family,
also-
you know, we're all family, you know. And we have
But
one-
anyhow,
one
unless
father.
we talk about it and we
Yeah.
exchange things and we can be aware, you know, it's not getting easier, it's getting
Well,
harder.
thanks for mentioning about that Sunday feast, because
Yeah.
you said
We
you
purposely wait and see who will say what, and it's the same one person who will say, you know.
and Yogendra cook the feast.
No, he doesn't do it, it's us, you know, the few of us. And it's a struggle, people don't understand. This week I really had a hard time. Kevalia was not here for dressing. She told me, but she didn't detail me and told me, I'm leaving on Saturday. And plus they think, you know, I'm so busy, I have to come and take their name off, put their name in. And Suchitra and both of them were not here. And I'm sitting here chanting, realizing there's nobody dressing Radhakana.
Oh.
So I'm the Sunday feast person. Oh, it really threw me off like crazy. So I then have to go, and Sunday is difficult, you know, you have to like pick things. When I did that, my whole day with the feast is like whatever, I just couldn't concentrate. My brain went zilch.
Wow.
You know, so it's hard. People don't know what we have to go through there, you know.
The buck stops here.
The guys are all, you know, maxed out. Come Sunday, everybody's tired. Here we have to make sure we cook a feast. And then on top of that, these 12 people were coming. At last minute, I texted
Oh,
her.
yeah, the church.
Yeah, the church is coming. And I freaked out. I said, oh my God. What
How did they do? I heard it went okay.
It was a good
Yeah.
exchange.
Yogendra gave the class, is that right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
gave him a class before in one of my
The
meditation classes.
So people from a church came.
It's friends of mine, you know.
Oh, okay.
A very nice Episcopal church. Really nice. They know Mataji for some time, right?
Yeah, I know her for a while.
Well, thanks
Anyhow,
for sharing.
All
I'm going
glories
to
to
some
your
of the
devotional
devotees.
service.
I'm
I'm going to all.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Thank you for this loving exchange.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Krishna. Yeah.
It is.
Shishi Garantai, Shishi Garantai.
Thank you. Yeah.